What's going on, guys? Coach Malcolm with Brawn and Bodybuilding. I'm going to be going over Devin Action Ricker's top 3 exercises to get arms like guts from Berserk. Let's check it out.
I'm Devin Action Ricker, strength coach, personal trainer, and certified nerd. In this video, I'm gonna give you 3 exercises to help you get arms like guts from Berserk. Mind the scientific training principles. And one of the most basic principles is overload. So you start with lightweight and then you build up.
All right, so to kind of recap what he is illustrating is that with the program itself going from 5 to 6 weeks, you can always go up to 12. It all depends on your intensity. So when it comes to you needing to deload after all that, another good way of putting it is basically you do less than 50% of what you would normally do. So if you're doing 5 sets of bicep curls and you're doing it at 70 pounds, which would be pretty gnarly if you could do that, but it's you cutting the weight down to 35 pounds and doing 2 to 3 sets, giving yourself a light pump, but not overexerting yourself to where the muscles themselves, including your central nervous system, being overloaded. So you're kind of giving yourself a little bit of a break. So that way, when you start going back into the program again, you're able to handle the workload at a more efficient way of doing that. It's very common in the bodybuilding world. So a lot of bodybuilders, including myself and how I coach my clients, is that we go through an 8-week program or 2 mesocycles, so 2 months. And it's basically me working them up week after week to increase their weights, progressive overload, and allowing themselves to become a lot more adaptive to more and more work. And then right after the 8 weeks, then we take a 1 week to 2 week deload. So basically cutting their weights almost in half, cutting their sets and the reps down from what they would normally do and allowing themselves to recover and then getting right back into the work.
There are 5 things that you have to keep in mind. First, can you get a really good stretch at the targeted muscle, and do you have really good tension on that muscle? Second,
So to go over the stretch, the main reason why you want to focus on the stretch, the eccentric part of the motion, is that it allows the muscles, so the fibers within the muscle, the actin and the myosin, to pull against each other to allow the muscle itself to form micro tears as it's stretching, and it allows your muscles themselves to start adapting to stretch, creating patches over those said stretches and tears and micro tears within those, so that way it allows to do what is called hypertrophy, which is to enlarge the muscle.
Don't want any joint pain.
Correct. So pay attention to your body's natural physiology, the way that it would naturally move within the motions of those specific exercises. Joint pain is definitely no good. It starts really impairing how well you're able to not only just recover, but also form that solid mind muscle connection within the said muscles. So if I was ever having to train my clients on different machines, I would have them start off with light to almost no weight, just so that way they get used to the idea of what they're about to do, getting their nervous system prepped for that specific movement, but at the same time allowing them to learn technique. Technique to me is the most important part of any workout journey, because if you don't have good technique and you keep increasing the weights higher and higher and higher, you're more likely to get tears within the tendons. You're more likely to completely destroy the ligaments that connect bone to bone. Like, it's not good. Take your time, do not rush through your movements, and actually learn the exercises efficiently as you're increasing the weights. But if your technique is not down, don't even think about increasing the weights. Actually focus on how well you want to develop form. Form is essential to being able to produce not only solid mind muscle connection to where you actually feel the pump and the stretch, but then at the same time you know exactly what muscles you're working. Because if you're doing any type of workout and you're feeling it anywhere outside of the target area, there are synergistic, antagonistic, and agonist muscles that have to work in tandem for you to be able to do specific movements, but you're feeling it more inside of that one muscle rather than the muscle you're actually working. You need to subtract the weight and actually teach yourself, or take a trainer and have them show you the proper mechanics of how to do said movement.
And then you're gonna come up and lateral raise from there. So it looks just like that.
I actually dig that. I'm going to try that on my next workout. So whenever I work any type of delt movement, I don't ever mess with anterior delts because you're already doing those so much within your push movements, like your bench press, your dumbbell presses, incline presses. Here he's working the medial delt, which is the side part of the arm. Basically, you're creating the stretch to be able to allow the muscles around it to be able to start wrapping around and allowing a larger area above the bicep to be able to really show off that pop. So if you want big arms and to show how well your arms are developing, work on your delts. Do not skip your delts. Work on your medial delt and your posterior delt.
Really good stretch. I'm sticking my chest out to really stretch out those biceps, and my elbows are behind me. Now from there, I'm gonna come forward, curl, just like that, and then back down. Get a really good stretch, really good squeeze at the top, then.
Correct. So what he's doing there is what's called Bayesian curls. Those are probably the best at developing your biceps. Primarily what he just said is that it's in a full stretch continuously through the motion. There's no release of tension within the bicep itself, which is really awesome. His technique is really good. I really like the fact that he goes all the way back and he allows the biceps to completely stretch out. And it's actually really good for your tendons too, to be able to allow it to get that full stretch, because you want your tendons and your biceps to grow in tandem with each other, because if your muscles, they naturally will outpace the tendons, but if you outpace them too much, you're more likely to get tears, strains. The difference between sprain and strain is that a sprain is within the ligament, strain is within the muscle, the tendon in the muscle, because tendons connect muscle to bone. The thing I really love about his technique too is how far he's bringing it back. So he's allowing that full stretch, like I just said. And yeah, this guy has phenomenal technique. I can definitely tell he is a seasoned and a really good coach.
Down, just like that.
Beautiful.
And the great thing about this is, just like with the delt exercise, you get a full range of motion. Your arms are all the way back and you have really good tension on them. And then we're coming all the way up to a full contraction, and a full squeeze at the top.
Okay, so I love the fact that he emphasized both the eccentric and concentric part of the motion. Nowadays, people are focusing too much on the eccentric and then completely neglecting the contraction part of it. I love how he said to actually contract at the top and actually pause, which is really good because you want to be able to do both the eccentric and concentric motion to be able to elicit that response. It's creating time under tension within the muscle. The more time under tension, the better the growth. Also, the fact that he pauses at the top and squeezes, it teaches your body to actually force yourself to utilize that said muscle that you're trying to work. So if you're doing bicep curls, you should feel it in your biceps, practically almost nowhere else. You're going to feel it slightly in your triceps, in your forearms, because you have to squeeze the dumbbell, but you should feel it primarily within the bicep itself.
Just like this, and we're going to do something called an overhead tricep extension. Yep. What that looks like is this.
The overhead tricep extension is phenomenal. It's one of my favorite tricep exercises. The only thing I wish he would have elaborated on was, whenever you're doing that said motion, you want to bring it all the way back, but then you want to squeeze closer, bring the elbows as close to your forehead as possible, because then that allows the full tension within the triceps itself, and you want to keep that tension all the way throughout as you're pulling past your head, and then you want to be able to keep that squeeze as tight as you can. You don't want to flare out your elbows too much, because then you release the tension within the triceps. You want to keep that tension towards your forehead as hard as you can and keep that tension as much as possible. You're naturally going to flare out regardless, because you want to get the full concentric part of the motion, but keeping the elbows tucked towards the forehead is what's going to elicit that full contraction of the tricep and allowing it to stay under time and tension. So honestly, what he is demonstrating, those are three phenomenal exercises. The only exercises add into it besides the ones that he mentioned would be tricep pushdowns, Honestly, if you do that in a superset with the overhead tricep extensions, oh, you get one hell of a pump. I do that superset all the time. For me, it just really helps with developing the triceps. The Bayesian curls, honestly, you can't beat that exercise. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. I probably use that more than I do any type of dumbbell work. Um, it's just really good stretch on the tendon itself. And then the really cool thing about that is too, if you have bicep tendonitis, it actually helps with relieving the tension within that tendon, so that way it allows it to get the full stretch out. I have my clients do a lie down variation with dumbbells and fully stretching out that arm and allowing the tendons themselves to stretch out. And my one client started doing that, and he told me that it helped relieve his bicep tendonitis significantly. So honestly, his exercises are perfect. I would maybe add in a couple different ones, but the fact that you picked three, those would probably be the three that I would pick as well. Absolutely phenomenal coaching, great technique, good cues. This guy knows what he's talking about, and you're getting a lot of quality information from this guy.
This is called the tricep dip. And then all it is you go down just like this. And so it looks like this.
All right, so instead of the bench, you can honestly use the corners of a counter in your kitchen, and you lift yourself up and then you come down and up doing a nice dip. You can do that. That's another variation that you can do. But otherwise, that's a solid exercise for home. Um, yeah, honestly, the guy knows what he's talking about. I really enjoy his content. I've seen a couple of his videos. I love when he goes over physiques. The guy knows what he's talking about. Definitely a seasoned coach. And honestly, I really like this dude. I'm going to keep watching his content, and I don't really foresee myself like going completely against a lot of the things that he says. There's a couple exercise variations that I would switch out, but otherwise, all the ones that he mentioned are perfect. I probably would keep all those in the program, maybe add one, substitute one out. But otherwise, yeah, this guy is phenomenal. I really like his content. But anyway, thank you for sticking with me. This is Coach Malcolm with Broad and Bodybuilding. I appreciate your time, and I really like this guy. Please go follow Action Ricker. The guy is phenomenal. I love his videos, and yeah, I plan on doing these videos every weekend, whether it be his or somebody else's that I find on the channel. But otherwise, you folks have a wonderful day.